If you enjoy this video, I hope you'll hit the like button and put a comment.
I've had a request to show you my salad dressing recipe. So years ago, I bought what was probably my first cookbook, and it was a vegetarian cookbook, and it had this delicious pasta salad recipe. So it was pasta and vegetables and beans and such, and it combined with this light and refreshing dressing. And I made it for a long time, loved it. What I discovered was actually that the dressing stood on its own. And I started using it as a dressing with lettuce and tomato, sort of typical salads. I've also used it as a marinade.
For this recipe, you will need half a cup of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of fresh chopped basil, 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, which you can get from 1 lemon, a teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper.
Olive oil is one of those items that if you can buy high quality fresh, I do recommend it. It will make a difference. This is something you're not cooking, you're actually using it as a main ingredient. So if you're able to, go for something where you really enjoy the flavor, you can literally sample them just as you would, other ingredients. There's places that will let you do olive oil tastings where you drink it just to get a sense of the flavor. So where you can go for better, if you have what you have, try it out and see what you think. We're starting with half a cup of olive oil. We're gonna then add garlic. So we're gonna take 2 cloves of garlic. So what you're gonna do is mince them up. Now I usually just take a knife and cut it up until it's minced up. If you have a food processor and wanna pop it in there, great, certainly makes it easier. So let's just mince this, cut it into very little tiny pieces. So now we've got this nice minced garlic. You can see it on there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this empty container, which ultimately has a seal-tight lid. I'm gonna put in the half cup of olive oil, and I'm gonna put in the 2 cloves of garlic that we've minced. So now we need 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. And if you've been following my videos, you've probably seen me use a lot of fresh lemons. You certainly can use the container of already made lemon juice, but if you can get fresh lemons, I really recommend it. Smells amazing, really helps enhance the flavor, so good for you. This way it's literally nothing but lemons in there. So what you're gonna wanna do is, since it's gonna get kind of everywhere, try squeezing it into a bowl first. So this is 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to take a spoon here, put it into the mix, and then I need another tablespoon. So it's probably a little more, but that's okay. Love lemon juice. By the way, another thing I've tried is lime juice. So feel free to put in some lime juice instead of lemon or with the lemon. This is one of those areas where you can definitely experiment and decide what you like, and even adjust depending on how you're using it, what you're gonna mix it with. Our next ingredient is basil leaves. If you can get them fresh, you will smell how wonderful they are. You're gonna be doing 2 teaspoons of fresh chopped basil leaves. If you don't have fresh, you're stuck, but you have some basil in your cabinet, something dried, go ahead and use it. Take your basil leaves, I just rinsed them off, and now, just like we did with the other ingredients, we're gonna give them a little chop here. Also, just as I talked about with the garlic, if you want to put this into a food processor instead, you certainly can do that. You're not looking to end up with pureed basil, you're really just trying to chop it up. So if you do end up putting it in some sort of a food processor or blender, just make sure that you don't do it for very long or have it for on a very high setting, again, because this is not a smoothie. This is chopped basil leaves. So we've got our chopped basil leaves here. And I find when it comes, there's actually a lot of basil. By the way, if you end up getting basil specifically for this recipe and then you're saying, okay, what else can I do with it? Well, of course you can add it to things like your tomato sauce, ratatouille, if you've followed the one that I made there. But also, it's actually great in water. I discovered this once. I can't remember if it was a hotel or a spa, but they served this water. I was like, this is delicious. What is this? And they said, oh, we infuse it with basil. So all you do is take a couple of the basil leaves, toss it in a pitcher of water, pop it in your fridge, let it sit for a couple hours or overnight, and have this really nicely flavored infused basil water. So a little tip, give it a try. This is one of those times, it's so good, I can smell it. emanating from here. So it's just wonderful. So what we're gonna do here, just smells so good. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take our 2nd teaspoon and put it in and give it a good stuff in there, probably a little more, but that's okay. So now that we've got our basil in, we're gonna go with our salt and pepper. So we have here 1 teaspoon of salt, so add that. And we have a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So we're gonna add that. And just as I was saying, again, this is to taste. So if you're someone who wants it spicier, put in some more pepper. If you're trying to go lower salt, don't use the salt. Like, you can really adjust this based on what you like. But again, where you can use these fresh ingredients, it will really help. So now we've got in here our olive oil, our garlic, salt, pepper, fresh basil, fresh lemon juice, and it's time to, as the song goes, shake it up. So we're going to put a lid on. Make sure in this case that your lid is really tight. This is not what you want flying into your face or clothes. So got it nice and sealed. Shake. So it's all shaken up. Now let's see how we did. So here is this beautiful salad dressing. I'm gonna pour it in so you can see what it looks like. How wonderful that is. So you can see all of the fresh herbs, and it's interesting because it looks creamy, right? Doesn't it look like something that, you know, that maybe has cream or has butter or something really heavy? It's actually this beautiful light olive oil, you know, garlic, lemon mixture, and somehow just sort of all the ingredients mixing together make it look like that. If you do store it in the fridge, you're gonna find you probably have to give it another shake just to mix it up as the items separate, but how beautiful that is. That's fresh, healthy ingredients. So now you know how to make one of my favorite salad dressings. And whether you decide to put it into a tossed salad, into a pasta salad, or to use it as a marinade for chicken, I hope you enjoy it in good health.